Hello everyone. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then subscribe to this channel. The famous diva who dazzled a country. Marilyn Monroe conceived Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles, California, was one of the most persevering through images of Hollywood style and appeal. Her ascent from a grieved youth to becoming quite possibly of the most notable figure in film history is a story set apart by both wonderful achievement and significant individual battles. Monroe's inheritance keeps on spellbinding crowds and researchers the same, mirroring the mind-boggling convergence of big name, weakness, and social effect. Early life. Norma Jean Mortensen was brought into the world to Gladys Pearl Doe Puncher, who battled with psychological maladjustment and precariousness. Her dad was generally missing, and Monroe spent quite a bit of her initial a long time in childcare and shelters. As a kid, she was known for her excellence and appeal, however confronted huge close-to-home and mental difficulties. At 16 years old in 1942, Monroe wedded James Dougherty, an assembly line laborer. Albeit the marriage furnished her with some soundness, it was brief. In 1946, in the wake of isolating from Dougherty, Monroe started utilizing the name Marilyn Monroe, a phase name that would become unbelievable. Her initial years were set apart by a progression of little displaying position and touch aspects in films, laying the basis for her future vocation. Ascend to fame, Monroe's vocation started to pick up speed in the mid-1950s. She marked an agreement with 20th Century Fox in 1951, and her cutting-edge job accompanied. The film Men of Honor leaned toward Blondies, 1953, in which she featured close by Jane Russell. The film exhibited Monroe's comedic ability and set her status as a main woman. Her presentation of the melody "Jewels Are a Young Lady's Dearest Companion" became notorious, further establishing her picture as a spectacular and enticing star. Monroe's next significant achievement was The Way to Wed a Tycoon, 1953, which exhibited her capacity to mix comedic timing with her on-screen persona. Her depiction of stupid blonde characters was both charming and sarcastic, featuring her remarkable capacity to enamor crowds with both appeal and mindfulness. In 1955, Monroe was granted the Brilliant Globe for Best Entertainer in a Parody or Melodic for her part in The Long-Term Tingle, 1955. The film is well known for the scene where Monroe remains over a metro grind, making her white dress surge up, a picture that has turned into a persevering through image of her sexiness and star power. Individual battles and connections. Notwithstanding her expert achievement, Monroe's own life was full of troubles. She battled with emotional wellness issues, including wretchedness and tension, and confronted various difficulties with her relationships and connections. Her most memorable union with James Dougherty finished in separate in 1946, and she wedded baseball legend Joe DiMaggio in 1954. Their marriage, however profoundly advanced, was fleeting, finishing off with separate from after only 9 months. Monroe's second union with dramatist Arthur Mill Operator in 1956 was set apart by expert and individual strains. The couple's relationship was stressed by Monroe's battles with her acting vocation and Mill Operator's requesting proficient life. Their marriage finished in separate in 1961, with Monroe's vocation and individual life turning out to be progressively tempestuous. Profession difficulties and wins. Monroe's profession confronted a few difficulties, incorporating battles with pigeonholing and troubles with studio chiefs. Her craving to break, liberated from her moronic blonde picture, drove her to seek after additional emotional jobs. In 1956, she established her own creation organization, Marilyn Monroe Creations, determined to oversee her ventures. One of Monroe's most widely praised exhibitions accompanied her part in Transport Stop, 1956, coordinated by Joshua Logan. Her depiction of a gullible yet genuine person procured her recognition from pundits and exhibited her capacity to deal with additional complicated sensational jobs. Monroe's last movie, The Rebels, 1961, composed by Arthur Mill Operator and coordinated by John Huston, was a critical takeoff from her past jobs. The film, where Monroe played a pained divorced person, was her very own distinct impression, individual battles, and denoted an impactful finish to her movie profession. Demise and heritage. Marilyn Monroe's life reached a sad conclusion on August 5, 1962, when she was found dead in her Los Angeles home from a barbiturate glut. Her passing, at 36 years old, was formally managed a likely self-destruction. However, it has been encircled by theory and paranoid notions. The conditions of her demise have energized continuous interest with her life. Monroe's passing was met with a generous flood of sorrow from fans and media outlets. Her memorial service, went to by a larger number of people of Hollywood's tip-top, denoted the conclusion of an important time period for a notorious figure whose impact reached out past the cinema. In spite of her moderately short vocation, Marilyn Monroe's heritage perseveres. She stays a social symbol and an image of style and weakness. Her movies keep on being commended, and her effect on mainstream society is obvious in different types of media, including style, music, and craftsmanship. Monroe's impact should be visible and crafted by contemporary specialists and entertainers who have drawn motivation from her persona and heritage. Social effect. Marilyn Monroe's effect on American culture is significant. She addresses both the appeal and the awfulness of Hollywood fame. Her picture has been deified in various things of beauty, including Andy Warhol's renowned screen prints, which feature her status as an image of mainstream society. Monroe's impact stretches out to the women's activist development too. Her battles with personality and self-esteem resound with conversations about the generalization of ladies and the tensions looked by female big names. Monroe's life and profession have provoked continuous conversations about the intricacies of popularity and the human expense of superstar culture. Marilyn Monroe's life was a convincing mix of style, ability, and individual battle. Her ascent to fame, set apart by remarkable exhibitions and notorious minutes, was joined by a wild private life that reflected more extensive cultural issues. Monroe's inheritance perseveres through her movies, her picture, and her effect on mainstream society, proceeding to dazzle and rouse new ages. As a social symbol, Monroe stays a strong image of the intricacies of notoriety and the getting through allure of Hollywood excitement. Thank you for watching.